You're telling me right here is that as the assistant director of FBI Cyber, you don't know where this is after it was turned over to you 3 years ago.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
How are Americans supposed to trust that you can protect us from the next colonial pipeline if it seems that you can't locate a laptop that was given to you 3 years ago from the first family, potentially creating vulnerabilities for our country?
Sir, it's not in the purview of my investigative responsibilities.
Republican Congressman from Florida, Matt Gaetz, demanding answers from an FBI cybersecurity expert after the agency says they lost Hunter Biden's laptop. Gaetz pointing out now the national security threat. So where is it? We'll check in with senior White House correspondent John Gizzi, live in Washington, staying on this case, John.
Well, no one knows where the actual laptop is, but Matt Gaetz isn't waiting for that. Following that turbulent exchange you just saw, the Florida congressman put in the Congressional Record the contents of the laptop, which Republicans obtained from former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani back during the 2020 campaign. Now, the question is precisely what is in the laptop contents. Does it include the sexually explicit photographs that have long been referred to, or films of Hunter Biden smoking pot? Or is there very serious confirmation of the charges Republicans made that he had business dealings in Ukraine that are somewhere beyond the law? We'll know soon enough as people go through the contents on record. I might add that House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler tried to object to the congressman's placing the laptop contents in the record, but it turned out Matt Gaetz had permission from the majority staff and was in line in submitting the controversial material. Back to you.
A lot of it has to do with the emails as well, the exchange of potential dealings with that
Exactly.
Ukrainian business dealings there as well. John Gizzi, live in Washington. John, thank you.
Let's bring in our panelists now for a reaction. Happy to be joined by former Colorado State Senator, Chairman of the Committee to Defeat the President, Ted Harvey. Also with us, Republican strategist, former Secret Service agent Melanie Burkholder, alongside Andrea Kaye, Republican strategist. Great to see our panelists here today. Andrea, I'll start with you. What do you make of Congressman Matt Gaetz officially entering at least some of the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop into the Congressional Record?
Well, I thought it was an absolutely brilliant play. I don't know if he's an attorney or not, but I think he led the FBI and the Democrats down a great path, right? Look, I mean, this assistant director of the FBI says a laptop involving the now president of the United States that was connected to Wi-Fi and the internet isn't about cybersecurity. I think we all know now, after the last 4 or 5 years, that the FBI is working as a department for the purpose of covering up the crimes and corruption of the Democrats while seeking to persecute and prosecute any Americans that believe in the American First agenda.
Yeah, and Melanie, this is not just a partisan look anymore. CNN reportedly reporting this story as well, that Hunter Biden is being federally investigated for a wide variety of things, including utilizing this laptop to finding information about it. And then you have the questioning there by the congressman, and it seems to be that no one knows anything about this laptop. Melanie?
Convenient. Yeah, Sean, the thing is, I'm a former investigator of cybercrimes myself, and the answer of, sir, this falls out of my purview of investigative duties is ridiculous. Chain of custody is a primary concern of anyone investigating any case. And so what I loved about Matt Gaetz's questioning was really essentially he got down to the base of 18 U.S.C. 1030, which is knowingly accessing a computer without authorization with the information you obtain potentially harming the United States. And so that was the purpose of his question, because he was trying to fall within the purview of 18 U.S.C. 1030. So this is just, of the 35,000 plus members of the FBI, I condone their amazing individuals and great law enforcement officers. But this is just a case of corruption at the level of leadership in the FBI. And I'm afraid, as I said before, it's a slippery slope with the FBI, the beginning of the end of a law enforcement in this nation that was once very well respected.
There was also another headline that came out of this congressional meeting here, with Gaetz filing a resolution that he's called the spook who cried wolf resolution. Let's dive into that. It aims to indefinitely bar security clearances for 51 intelligence officials who publicly signed a letter decrying the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop as Russian disinformation. And Ted Harvey, if you go back in time again, that was published. In fact, they're sort of calling it Russian disinformation prior to the 2020 election. It was all released prior to the New York Post article being censored as well. And now Matt Gaetz wants to highlight the fact that these people made this claim, and now it clearly is incorrect.
Well, without a doubt, and they knew it was incorrect. They were using their authority and their position as national security experts to interfere in the election of a president of the United States. They knew that it would have the impact of squashing the story, one of the biggest stories in our nation's history. Right before the election, they knew that story would result in Biden losing the election, and they were going to do everything they could to make sure that Trump didn't win, just like they had been doing for the previous 5 years at the highest levels of our national security. And it's an outrage, and they should lose their national security clearance.
Andrea Kaye, I got 10 seconds for you. The midterms coming up. What will the Republicans do?
Well, I think the Republicans need to continue to use this out on the campaign trail and make legitimate promises that they're going to do something about it. But unfortunately, I disagree with Dr. Mel. I think that the stench at the FBI and the DOJ runs so deep that I'm not sure that a Republican leadership in the Senate and the House is going to get accountability.
All right, we got to leave it at that. Ted Harvey, Melanie Burkholder, and Andrea Kaye, thank you very much.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Experts are warning the current 40-year inflation high will only get worse. See how to protect your IRA with gold. Get a free info kit like this one at birchgold.com/Newsmax. There's no cost. There's no obligation. Just get your free info kit at birchgold.com/Newsmax.